President Trump confirmed moments ago authorizing a covert CIA operation in Venezuela amid stepped-up U.S. military activity against accused drug boats near that country. The president also said, somewhat ominously, that he was looking at U.S. military actions on land to fight drug cartels. These new details about Venezuelan drug cartels coming as a result of questions posed by our own Ed O'Keefe, who I'm happy to say joins us now from the North Lawn. Ed, take it away.
Well, Major, it was the New York Times that first reported this afternoon that these covert operations had been approved by the president, so we just put it to him simply. Why? Take a look. Mr. President, thank you. Curious, why did you authorize the CIA to go into Venezuela? And is there more information you can share about these strikes on the alleged...
Well, I can't do that, but I authorized for two reasons, really. Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America. They came in through the, they came in through the border. They came in because we had an open border policy. And as soon as I heard that, I said, a lot of these countries, they're not the only country, but they're the worst abuser. And they've entered they've allowed thousands and thousands of prisoners, mental institution, people from mental institutions, insane asylums, emptied out into the United States. We're bringing them back.
Now, we should point out hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans have come to the United States legally and illegally over the last several years, but there's no evidence that prisons were emptied to have those people then come here to the United States illegally. The president also saying, when I asked him, does the CIA have authorization to take out Nicolas Maduro, the leader of that country? There's a $50 million reward out for him, a bounty essentially, because the administration accuses him of working with drug cartels but hasn't necessarily offered direct evidence of that. The president said, that's a ridiculous question for me to be given, not really a ridiculous question, but he said he wouldn't answer that directly. Otherwise, he said, though, they're feeling the heat, and he believes others have been feeling the heat, and I can tell you we've taken care of the sea. There's nobody, and we're watching, and if we see it, we'll save it, meaning if we see the drug boats coming, we will take them out. There's been bipartisan concern expressed by Democrats and Republicans in Congress that they're not getting the information they want and they need to better understand those military operations, not only the legal justification, but the direct evidence that these people on those vessels were indeed working for drug cartels or moving illicit drugs away from Venezuela or Colombia and towards the United States. The president says they'll get that information, but bottom line, they got to know drugs are being destroyed, Major.
And Ed, what was the context of the reference the president made to U.S. military activity on land?
Well, it was an earlier question from somebody regarding the ships, and he was asked, as I recall, because this only happened just a few minutes ago, would you rule out going on land, and he wouldn't. Now, look, this is a president who doesn't rule out a lot of things in public and then authorizes or approves things in other ways after the fact. So leaving that hanging out there certainly is a risk that Venezuela will now face, and obviously it'll thunderclap around Latin America now that he's perhaps raised that or hasn't ruled it out. But there's no evidence as of now that there are plans for land operations. We do know, though, that the deployment of at least 6,000 U.S. forces across the Caribbean Sea area and the operations that have been carried out in recent weeks to take out those alleged boats, drug boats, are significant, certainly for this region of the world, and suggest there could be more to come.
Ed O'Keefe at the White House, thank you so very much.